With some games, it's not because they have a big budget that it will make the biggest impact, but it's those smaller titles that achieve something incredible with limited resources. These are the hidden gems that manage to shine brighter than the rest. If you're looking for games that may have gone unnoticed, this list is just what you need. First up is Medieval Dynasty, a survival game with village management in a richly detailed medieval world where you can really live out your Lord of the Land fantasies. You will start by hunting, gathering, and building a small hut. But with the passing of time and seasons, you grow your settlement by inviting villagers, creating families, and expanding your empire. The world itself is impressively rendered, boasting realistic weather conditions and changing seasons that affect how you play the game. What makes Medieval Dynasty stand out, though, is its combination of resource management with immersive survival elements. You are not just building structures, you are leaving behind a legacy. The management of resources through harsh winters and making sure that everyone's bellies are full adds a level of realism seldom experienced in other games. It is for solo play, but it seems like a true medieval saga with such depth in the control you have over your village's destiny. Enter the historical world of Kingdom Come: Deliverance, a game replacing magic and fantasy with the gritty realism of medieval Bohemia. You'll play Henry, a blacksmith's son, on a quest for revenge, honor, and self-discovery. What adds even more interesting depth to this game is the amount of historical accuracy. There's no magic spell here or mythical creature, but only highly researched weaponry, armor, and techniques of combat, where realistic sword-fighting mechanics and a beautifully recreated Bohemian landscape come into play. Kingdom Come: Deliverance feels like a living history lesson. You will notice, as you traverse this territory, that in everything from character interactions down to the hardships of medieval life, the attention to detail really sets this apart from your typical RPG experience. Its stance on realism and deep storytelling automatically makes it an absolute standout in the AA scene. Greedfall is an RPG that whisks you away to a fantastic yet history-inspired world full of magic, political intrigue, and exploration. You play the role of a diplomat, shrouded in combat, diplomacy, and stealth skills, while navigating through complex alliances and uncovering secrets on a mysterious island. Visually vibrant, full of beautiful landscapes and creatively designed creatures, it brings life into every nook and cranny of this world. The gameplay in Greedfall lets you form alliances, betray friends, and even change whole factions in their alignments. Given its focus on the player's agency, Greedfall really feels like a classic RPG, one with deep narratives, well and truly filled with meaningful decisions to be made, set within a beautiful environment filled with lore-rich quests. It is proof that impactful storytelling and exploration do not need a AAA budget. In Bramble the Mountain King, you embark on a haunting trip through Nordic folklore to save your sister. The player controls a small boy who goes by the name of Ole, and the player has to face off against creatures both beautiful and terrifying. With wonderful graphics and an astounding atmosphere, the game is indeed very well done. The art style of the game itself is absolutely breathtaking. A dark forest, mist-shrouded landscape, and mythical beasts straight out of a fable. It's all about knowing when to fight and when to flee in Bramble, creating a sweet balance of tension and wonder as you make your way through it. The mixture of horror and adventure elements is surely captivating, a world where each and every encounter seems to mean something. This isn't a game, it's an emotional journey through worlds of folklore, fear, and bravery. Framed in a semi-submerged town in the 1920s, The Sinking City is a new way of reliving Lovecraftian horror. You'll be taking on the role of a detective trying to unravel the supernatural forces corrupting the town of Oakmont by solving cases in an open world full of mystery and dread. Visually, this captures a decaying, flooded city that's just perfect for setting an oppressive atmosphere that keeps you on edge. Where The Sinking City really shines is with the open-ended investigation system, with cases that can be approached from many angles and a multitude of outcomes. It's a chilling exercise in which managing your sanity and piecing together clues feel just as dangerous as facing any monster. This captures the essence of Lovecraft's work, and for that, it's a must-play for fans of the horror and mystery genres. Another hidden gem for Lovecraft fans, Call of Cthulhu, is a cosmic, horror-laced psychological thriller in which the player assumes the role of Detective Pierce. You are assigned to investigate a death that has been ruled suspicious, and soon enough, you get into a world of cults, insanity, and ancient gods. It does a great job in creating suspense through eerie environments and unsettling encounters. Call of Cthulhu has got this whole detective and sanity mechanic in perfect balance. The more you reveal the truth, the bigger the mental strain on your brain, and thus, it changes perception or even enforces paranoia about the very world surrounding you, constantly keeping you in doubt, as to what is real and what's not. This game will chill with narration that can stay long after the credits roll. In the future war of the Terminator universe, Terminator Resistance puts you in a world overcome by machines controlled by Skynet, where humanity is fighting for survival. The game includes first-person shooting with elements of stealth and hacking, making every mission have its own approach. It carries that iconic, gritty atmosphere of a post-apocalyptic Los Angeles filled with terrifying T-800s and other robotic threats. What really makes Terminator great, though, is its commitment to Terminator lore. It tells a story about the events leading up to John Connor's Resistance and adds some great depth to the classic films. There's skill progression, crafting, and even free interaction with NPCs to make it quite immersive, which any fan of the Terminator series would love. While a AA title, it really shows off Terminator as a spirit embodiment of the movies that it really shows an intense, yet very authentic experience. Step into the steel boots of RoboCop in the first-person shooter RoboCop Rogue City and protect old Detroit from its rotten core of crime. With a trusty Auto 9 among many other firearms, the choice will be yours on how to dole out justice, combining brutal firepower with a sense of duty. Graphics are gritty, neon-lit streets of Detroit, while gameplay combines action with investigation. RoboCop's unique cybernetic abilities let you take on missions however you decide to do so, be it tracking down the suspects or protecting the civilians. With branching decisions affecting the storyline and how citizens perceive you, Rogue City presents a new school of thought on one of the most iconic characters. It is an explosive mix of action and strategy that makes you feel like an unstoppable force of justice. Get ready for one of the weirder adventures with High on Life. Armed with talkative guns, save the world against an alien drug cartel. Colorful, surreal worlds combined with witty dialogues give it a feel of some crazy, interactive comedy show. Each gun has its own personality, adding hilarity to interactions and keeping the game light and fun. But it's not all about the humor, really. High on Life has some solid FPS mechanics, too, with unique abilities for each gun that make the combat dynamic and entertaining. It's refreshing in terms of shooter games and isn't afraid to embrace its absurdity while tightening up the gameplay. If you're feeling something really different, this is the perfect pick. Chivalry 2 takes the medieval fight to cinematic levels, throwing you into massive multiplayer battles where you feel every bit of the chaos from clashing swords, flying arrows, and sieges. The visuals are immersive, from sprawling battlefields to gritty, realistic armor and weapons. It's super brutal but strategic as you pick from the different classes and weapons, each with their own strengths. First-person perspective and deep melee mechanics make each combat brutal, personal, and intense. Storming a castle or holding one off, Chivalry 2 delivers the scope and cinematic atmosphere of medieval conflict in a manner that is at the same time thrilling and visually well-looking. It's an action-packed experience that holds its own against even the biggest AAA titles. We're halfway through, but hang in there, because the top 10 AA games featured on this list are nuts. If you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to like and subscribe for more hidden gaming gems. In Vampire, you take to the dark, fog-filled streets of London during the deadly 1918 flu epidemic. It is a game whose setting, a hauntingly pretty post-World War I in London, sets the perfect stage for a tale of sacrifice, moral ambiguity, and survival. Vampire stands out immediately for its originality and its gameplay. Every character in the city is tied into a web of relationships, each one of them a potential source of blood that can strengthen your powers, if you're willing to kill them. Your decisions affect the fate of entire neighborhoods, which can blossom or wither and die due to your actions. Combats are dynamic, because classic melee attacks are spiced up with supernatural abilities like teleportation and mind control. Vampire masterfully weaves storytelling into action, allowing players to feel the weight of their decisions. This is one of those hidden gems that can go head-to-head with any AAA title in emotional depth and an immersive atmosphere. Hellblade's Senua's Sacrifice stands as a pitch-perfect example of how a AA game can have focus, high quality, and punch right alongside any AAA title out there. Made by Ninja Theory on a tighter budget with fewer people, Hellblade skips the great open worlds or scores of side quests that herald big-budget games, redirecting the resources into a shiningly polished and intensely focused experience. Its strengths lie in attention to detail, striking visuals, a powerful narrative, and innovative sound design. Hellblade may be a AA title, but it's a lesson in atmosphere, with each of its few resources used judiciously to serve a lean and immersive dive into the mind of Senua. The small budget constrains little. It liberated ninja theory to take chances, to create a sensitive expedition through the inner world of a mentally ill person that's respectful to that subject matter while still being an artistically driven endeavor. Hellblade proves that AA games can stand toe-to-toe with the giants of the industry, providing players with a deep and unforgettable experience that showcases the power of focused storytelling and innovative design. Remnant from the Ashes throws players right into the heart of a post-apocalyptic world infested with monstrous creatures from alternate dimensions. This third-person survival shooter dares anyone to delve into dynamically generated worlds, each filled with cruel enemies and epic boss battles. Of note are the procedurally generated maps that create unique environments, quest lines, and enemy encounters with each session in the game. This keeps every session fresh and adds a layer of uncertainty that makes every mission thrilling. Cooperative play in the game allows for teams of up to 3 players to team up, merging abilities and strategies to take down the toughest of foes. With quite literally countless ways to upgrade and specialize your character's weapons and armor, Remnant lets players approach challenges their way. Polished combat mechanics, along with its gripping atmosphere and deep upgrade system, easily make this a AA gem that rivals many AAA games in scale and replayability. Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn is an action-packed video game with an imaginatively designed world where gods and mortals clash. You will be assuming the role of Nor Vanek, a soldier on a mission to close the gate to the underworld and save destruction from falling upon her homeland. With both explosive firearms and mystical abilities courtesy of her fox-like companion, Enki, Nor molds into a grand and impactful journey through the war-torn lands of Kian. Combat is quick, fast with melee swipes and powerful shots that make each fight dynamic and challenging. The world of this game is grim and fascinating, filled with divine that let unholy terrors unfold upon the earth. Ruined cities, devastated landscapes, are what one gets to travel in search of discovering new equipment, strengthening your abilities, and fighting against huge bosses. With its engaging storyline, unique companion mechanics, and fast-paced Souls-like combat, Flintlock offers an epic and intense experience to prove AA games can be as thrilling as top-tier titles. For lovers of the sport of martial arts, Sifu is a masterfully designed game based on hand-to-hand fighting and mastering one's skills. While tracking down the assassins who murdered your family, every combat is also a chance to learn something new to adapt to or perfect your fighting style. That makes its aging mechanic all the more unusual. You die, it resurrects you, but a little older, and the way your character conducts combat changes with his age. One of the smarter ways to tie skill progression to narrative. Each fight feels like a show of growth and urgency. From dark clubs with blazes of neon to serene temple environments, each has its dynamic challenges. Thanks to the free expansion of arenas, players can test their kung fu in additional game modes, airing against waves of enemies in various locations. Sifu feels like an epic martial arts movie that has come to life. Its fluid combat, meaningful progression, and beautiful visuals make it deliver an intense experience that matches high-budget action video games. In Nobody Wants to Die, you find yourself in noir-style future New York, where the bridge to immortality is made for the upper crust. Again, this time you are Detective James Kara, on the hunt for a serial killer who had targeted high-profile citizens of the city. The year is 2329, and this game permits a player to use advanced investigative mechanics along with immersive narratives that go deep into transhumanism and questions about morality. Gameplay allows the player to reconstruct the crime scene with advanced technology, piecing together clues to find out who the killer is. Powered by Unreal Engine 5, the graphics are photorealistic as they paint this dystopian world. The different locations in the game seem to breathe and grow in eeriness. Nobody Wants to Die is a strong mix of investigative gameplay, intense storytelling, and deep insight into what the future might bring for humanity. This is a unique game where players constantly keep in doubt their choices, proving that rich and impactful storytelling does not need the biggest budget. The Entropy Center is a brain-warping puzzle game set within an enormous space station orbiting Earth, where players shift through time to solve complex challenges. With Astra, an AI-powered device that can rewind objects, you'll be solving inventive puzzles requiring clever thinking and precision timing. Every room introduces a new, ingenious puzzle that is one step closer to unraveling the mystery of an earthly mass extinction event. From the charming storyline to the wisecracking AI companion. With quite challenging puzzles to solve, it is outstanding in its own right, an adventure that's both stimulating and thoughtful. The beautiful graphics and detailed level design elevate the puzzle gameplay in the Entropy Center definitely rewarding for those who enjoy games like Portal. This is a AA game with AAA ambition that features some brain-twisting gameplay and a great storyline about humanity's survival. Death's Door is about playing the role of a crow who must reap souls, but all is not as it seems when his soul gets stolen, and he embarks on an adventure to some kind of weird, mystical world that has never seen death. The art of this game is both haunting and charming, containing beautifully crafted landscapes with weird inhabitants. The combat in the game is skill-based, replete with different arsenals, spells, and character upgrades, as players will be able to craft their style. Every region is full of secrets, seriously menacing foes, and huge boss battles that will give someone a run for their money. The storytelling is super subtle and impactful, forming a darkly comic narrative that speaks to the role of crows and life and death in general. With its beautiful visuals and engaging combat, along with its imaginative world, Death's Door is just the very personification of a AA game that knows how to go big with quality and originality. Shadow Warrior 2 is an absolute high-octane action game, much like its predecessor. Lo Wang is back and ready to slice and shoot his way through hordes of demonic enemies. First-person shooting meets melee combat in this game, where players can grab everything from guns to swords in order to cause destruction. The following game features co-op support for up to 4 players and procedural generation of environments, really making each mission chaotic, unpredictable, and full of mayhem. The humor, mixed with the hardcore combat and art design, forms a game that is so remarkably different from so many of its brethren. That said, Shadow Warrior 3 is by no means a poor entry, but for many fans the variety and replayability, coupled with the character customization, make this the superior entry. Lo Wang himself is a zany, loudmouthed anti-hero, and his craziness incorporates into some of the most wild action in Shadow Warrior 2. And the number 1, Witchfire. This is a dark fantasy RPG shooter in which you play as a Prayer, an undead assassin powered with witchfire magic, on a quest to take down the Witch of the Black Sea. From the creators of Painkiller and Bulletstorm, Witchfire melds atmospheric world-building with frenetic roguelite mechanics, allowing players to build up powerful abilities and weapons as they progress. Immersive and graphically stunning, each biome in the game is teeming with unique enemies to fight and secrets to uncover. That's it for our list of standout AA games. If you want more gaming content, check out our next video, the 20 DLCs that add huge value to games. Click on the video on your screen now, and I'll see you there.